I just got word that by the end of this year, it's gonna be longer than Pikmin 3 to Pikmin 4 than it was from Pikmin 2 to Pikmin 3. Say that 5 times fast. Hey, it's Cisco here. If you guys don't know, I'm a huge Pikmin fan. I've done some Pikmin videos on the channel, so if you like more Pikmin content, be sure to like and subscribe. So earlier today, I got tagged in a post saying that Pikmin 3 to Pikmin 4 is taking longer than it did for Pikmin 2 to Pikmin 3. So for those who don't know, here my American copies are downstairs, but Pikmin 2 was released in 2004, and then Pikmin 3 was released in 2013. So it took about 9 years for that game to come out. Back when I was in maybe like 7th, 8th grade, I purchased Pikmin 1 on the GameCube, and I loved it so much. Like a week later, I bought Pikmin 2, and those games were just amazing. So I was looking all over the internet and was like, hey, so where's Pikmin 3? I need to play the next one. In 2015, Miyamoto confirmed in an interview that Pikmin 4 is near completion. 2015! This also very similarly happened with Pikmin 3. I remember seeing like a Facebook post saying, oh, it's been confirmed that Pikmin 3 is scheduled to release very soon. And I waited. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited. I remember there was literally a Facebook celebration post that I made and was like putting all these photos and being like, Pikmin 3 is in development, hooray! And then like 5 years have passed and nothing. And so Pikmin 3 finally released on the Wii U. I didn't have a Wii U at the time, so I couldn't even play it. But eventually I got a Wii U. Eventually I got a Nintendo Select copy of Pikmin 3 because it was completely sold out everywhere. But I got one. And I mean, great game. So, but the thing is, Pikmin games are usually like, they're very short, guys. Pikmin games are usually like, you can beat them in 5 hours or less. So you kind of play it and you're like, okay, now I got 100% it. When's the next one coming out? And you won't hear for another couple years for the next installment of the game. By the end of this year, it'll be 10 years because Pikmin 3 was released in 2013 and is currently 2022 and there's no sign of Pikmin 4 yet. So by the end of this year, it will be officially like 10 years. However, it is not that bad. This is kind of a misconception. The release dates from Pikmin 1 to 2 to 3 and then to 4, they're not like 10 years apart. You see, Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2 are 2 years apart. And then from Pikmin 2 to Pikmin 3 is 9 years apart, yes. But what people don't talk about is that we got the new Wii Motion games, the versions. So the Wii Motion versions of Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2 were released. Well, at least the Pikmin 2 was released in 2009. 4 years later, Pikmin 3 is released for the Wii U. But that's not all. Yes, it's gonna be about 10 years since Pikmin 3 came out, but that's also a misconception. Because since Pikmin 3 on the Wii U, we have gotten Hey Pikmin on the 3DS, which was released in 2017. We got Pikmin 3 Deluxe on the Switch in 2020. And then in 2021, we got Pikmin Bloom on the mobile by Niantic, who makes Pokemon Go, which was pretty big deal. And even then, Pikmin Bloom is still relevant. They have a Twitter page, they post like every other day, they're updating the game, it's pretty relevant, that's where all the Pikmin fans are hanging out. So yes, it has been a long time since Pikmin 3 and then all the way to Pikmin 4. It's almost 10 years. So yes, it's been a while since Pikmin 3 to Pikmin 4, but it doesn't mean that there hasn't been any games. There's even been restocks on plushies. I remember seeing that Louis plushie was restocked, these kind of plushies. They all got restocked. There was even like a new version. This yellow Pikmin right here, like that's like a new version of Pikmin plush. And like, so they're doing things. I know there was like a new line of merch for Pikmin, like what, gummies or something. They're still doing things for Pikmin. It's just, you know, there hasn't really been games. As much as I love Pikmin and I want it to be yearly, if there's any series you should worry about, in my opinion, it's F-Zero and Star Fox, because I feel like those are the two series that Nintendo just keeps dropping the ball on and ignoring. And to give Pikmin fans hope, Pikmin 3 Deluxe wasn't just a regular port. They added a story that left the game open-ended for a sequel, which is great. And there's lots to do. There was achievements, there was like the boss rush. I mean, I think that was in the original too, but it had all the DLC added. There was a lot. There was a lot. There was like extra save files that you can use. There's a lot you can do in Pikmin 3 Deluxe, and I felt like that was a better game than the Wii U version, and very well worth the port. So, will we see Pikmin 4 next year? I hope so. It looks like we're getting them in October's, because if you look at the dates, I have a little paper to tell you. If you look at the dates, at least for some of the ones I have, Pikmin Bloom was in October, and Pikmin 3 Deluxe was also in October. So will we be seeing these games released in maybe like October? So who knows, maybe next year we'll see it in October. I hope, because I don't want to go another year without Pikmin 4. Because you know my logic, the longer it takes to play Pikmin 4, the longer it will be to play Pikmin 5. I love my Pikmin games, I want a whole big collection of them. And real quick, people may be asking, so why is Pikmin 4 taking so long? Miyamoto said it was near completion. There's two things. Now one, it has been confirmed that Miyamoto was not talking about Hey Pikmin. We don't know that. I feel like we don't know that for sure. I don't know. So you mean to tell me that he said Pikmin was very close to completion and then 2 years later, Hey Pikmin comes out and everyone's like, you said Pikmin 4 was near completion. And then there's like, oh yeah, we meant Pikmin 4, not Hey Pikmin. And then it's almost like 10 years later. And two, if Miyamoto is still very much hands-on to Pikmin, he's been working really hard on the Mario movie. Like that's his job right now, is to work on that Mario movie. So chances are he's probably not even working on Pikmin right now, which might be slowing production. Also, from my understanding, from what they've said before, the games like the huge ones, like Zelda Breath of the Wild, take up most of the production time and most of the team. So chances are Pikmin 4 has been worked on, but most of the team that was working on Pikmin is right now on Zelda. So what do you guys think? Are you guys still waiting on Pikmin 4? Has the wait just been killing you? Let me know down below. I just wanted to have a fun video talking about it because I miss Pikmin a lot. I've been wanting to make Pikmin content, and I just kind of want to talk about this. So, hope you guys have a good one, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya!